We're going to do a graded wash right now using a single color, cobalt blue, and a flat brush. Over the course of a small area, we're going to create a wash that goes from a darker blue to a lighter blue. We do this by starting dark at the top with our board tilted at about 45 degrees, and we start with a dark blue and gradually add a little more water to that puddle of color. The color becomes more and more diluted with each stroke until we reach the bottom or the conclusion of the wash and we're practically using just clean water. So you can see it's still wet and it's still changing, but the change is from a darker blue up on top to a lighter blue below. The second wash that we're going to do here is using two colors. And now we're starting with same cobalt blue up at the top, flat brush. As we come down, we're adding more water to that puddle. More water means the color dilutes a little more, gets lighter. We're trying to create a smooth transition. So, while the paint is wet, while the surface is wet, we can rework it. So you see me putting on some additional strokes. As it's drying, you see the colors flowing down and creating this veil of color. Now we're going to add a little bit of yellow ochre. Yellow ochre is placed below the finish of the blue, and while that blue is still wet, still shiny, we take some of it and we carry it up into the blue so that the gravity pulls down the cobalt blue, mixes with the yellow, and we get a smooth, soft transition. At the bottom of this wash, I'm intensifying the yellow ochre so that we can see a change in the yellow ochre as well, getting from a pale version to a little darker version. All this is done at an angle to take advantage of gravity and use that as a means of mixing the color. We use these graded washes for quite a few things. We use them for skies. You can see an immediate use of that blue wash for creating a sky. We use it for water. We use it for buildings. In this wash, it's a little longer. We're going to do the same cobalt blue, strong at the top, and we'll start to create a variation now by adding water, a brushful at a time, to start and get a soft transition. More water placed into the lower part and diluted so that it's gradually becoming very, very pale. There we're adding almost pure water, and you can see the soft transition that we want. Mixing it while it's still wet, you can see that the wash is very shiny. This is a good indicator that it's still workable. We can work it without creating streaks if it's still shiny. Again, bringing in that yellow ochre using the same method of starting below and then diluting the yellow ochre as I carry it up so that there's a smooth transition from light blue to light yellow ochre. From this point, I'm going to get a little stronger with the yellow ochre. And eventually, towards the bottom here, I'm going to be adding some alizarin crimson. First, a pale, medium strength variety, and at the bottom, a little darker. So that we can see three colors at work. This may remind you of what the sky looks like at sunset. When the sun is setting, we see warm colors on the horizon, and they're all soft transitions when they're in the sky. It's the same with reflections, soft transitions. It's the same when you see a building that's illuminated on the side or getting some bounced light from the street below. We see soft transitions from light to dark. So whenever we notice that in nature, it's a good opportunity to use this graded wash. And I think it's one of the building blocks for every watercolorist, is to be able to envision this wash being used and then apply it with the right intensity and using the colors that work. You saw me use a spray bottle. This was to keep the wash workable for a little longer. It helps the color to flow downhill and keeps the surface moist so that I can continue to manipulate the color. And here we see the transition from blue to pale yellow to a medium strength red. And this is giving us, quite a few variations. This is a graded wash. Again, we have a lot of opportunities to use this wash in different parts of watercolor painting. We'll use it today when we do a painting of Acadia National Park. We'll use it in the sky, we'll use it in the forest, and even in the rocks.